Good morning. Good morning. We're live. We're going to talk about Chelsea Milan. We're going to talk about what we want to see. We're going to see what's going on. The match against Leverkusen on Friday was very fun. And I figured I was going to stream today anyways. I might as well do it during the game because I got some stuff going on later. So I thought we would go live, and I thought we would stream. And we're here. We're having fun. And what I will say, I'll get this in right off the top, and I will mention it for later as well. I am recording with the inimitable Chelsea youth later today. So if you have... Oh, there we go. We're back. Sorry. I don't know. I lost my camera and stuff. If you have questions for Chelsea youth later, just drop them during the stream or shoot me a DM, and I will add them to the questions that we will ask that wonderful gentleman later. So feel free on that front. Yeah. Let's see what I want to do here. What do I want to do here? Andy says, how much does losing Jackson widen our error bars? So the thing with Jackson is, like, if you take just his goals, he was worth his goals and his assists. He was worth something like 5 points last year. And if you assume that can be completely replaced by Delap and João Pedro, there are worlds where you could lose nothing. However, I think that actually he's just so much better than those guys that no, you're going to lose more than that. So, like, I would say it probably adds like 5 to 7 points of downside, maybe 5 points of downside. But not only does it do that, it also reduces your upside. Because, like, I think a part of this team's potential upside was, what if Jackson scores 25 goals? He puts it all together and he scores 25 goals. And, like, that's gone now. Because I don't think there is a world, certainly not with as much probability or possibility, for like Delap or for João Pedro to do the same. You know what I mean? Fuzzbrain says, good morning. Good morning, Fuzzbrain. ZZZ says, bold decision to do a watch along. You know, if we can't even do a watch along for preseason, will we ever be able to do a watch along? Those are the real questions. Like Manyan going up to do the coin toss is fun. And, you know, could have been a Chelsea player. That could have been fun. Fuzzbrain says, do we have a pastry update? No pastry update. The bakery opens at 7, so I did not get the chance to go before this. I did get a pastry yesterday knowing I would not be able to go. I got a raisin bun, which was good. It was not my favorite thing they've ever had. They had like these tarts, like chocolate tarts, and I'm not a huge chocolate dessert guy. I like it, but it's just not my number one. And yeah, that's where we're at. Kadar's here, Lord Flacco's here. Roshan Suresh says, hopefully we're all wrong. JP turns into an elite goal scorer, but I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, he has scored 4 goals on like 7 shots, so like maybe he's just the guy. ZZZ, Yunus Musa, 5th minute, 2-foot tackle on Palmer is what could go wrong. Yeah, you know, I don't like Yunus Musa. I don't really rate him as a player at all. So if he does something dumb, it will definitely make that a bigger problem. I will say, I think we should blow them out today because they played yesterday in another country. A lot of the guys who are starting this game didn't play, but like we should be very comfortable, I think, in this game. Also, Milan are just like significantly worse than us, but I think they will not be. I think they will not be ready to go against us, but we'll see. Will I put a timer on stream so that we can sync for watch along? I forgot that I had to do this, and I don't know how to do it. We just kicked off though. If you want, like, I'm at 7 seconds. If you want to sync to me, so that I think will be interesting. The Marzio said Forest are willing to play 30 million for Musa. Musa has like a weirdly positive reputation. Um, and I just like don't think he's good at all. Like I don't think there's anything he does that I'm like other than dribble in straight lines, which is like the least valuable skill in all of football. We'll see. I am of all the players today, I was most excited to watch Estevao in the first game, and he absolutely lived up to the not expectations, but he lived up to like my excitement for that. Oh, that's a very nice little through ball and layoff to just absolutely rip us. Okay, Caicedo, fun. Not a great start for us, but that's okay. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the player I'm most excited about today is Gittins to see like, all right, Gittins, you're going against a team that's going to play a back five. Like you're going to be doubled on basically every 1v1. They're not going to press crazy high, so like you won't just have the space to run like you did against Leverkusen. Let's see how that goes. It's not a great start. I'm not gonna lie to you. I jinxed it. I said we would be good. Somebody said, Andy said, "What's my beverage of choice with pastries? Does it vary?" I'm a cappuccino guy. That's like my go-to hot coffee beverage is a cappuccino. I'm a big. I also just like an espresso. I grew up in a city of like mostly Italian and Portuguese immigrants. So a lot of my friends were Italian and Portuguese immigrants. So I like grew up drinking espresso as my coffee of choice. And so just Biff in the press there and Cole Palmer getting really mad about it. So that's fun. But yeah, I'll take espresso based coffee drinks mostly. I've been trying to convince my employer to buy a fancy coffee machine because I think it'd be really funny to just like drink really nice espressos all day. But Kato says I never drank espresso until I culture because you have culturally a lot of people who come from countries with coffee culture. I grew up Qatar. I grew up in Hamilton, which is like you know where Hamilton is if you're in Toronto. Which is like for those who don't know, Hamilton is like the Sicily of Canada. Like it's just all it's a steel town. There was a port. It's all Italian immigrants. Yeah, so like these are the 1v1s I'm very curious to see at 350 Gittins where he's like actually 1v2 and he rinses the fullback and wins a free kick. So good for him, I guess. Uh Nigel Beckford, you said in one of your last streams you had 4 go-to metrics to tell if a young attacker would be good regardless of league. Do you have these for other positions? Yeah, we talked about it on stream that like for non-attackers it's really hard because things are much more team context dependent. Like a center back can farm progressive passes because they play for a team that has a tremendous amount of possession in their league, or they have a tremendous amount of field tilt, and so like they just get same with defensive midfielders. They just get progressive passes despite not really even maybe being that good at them. Um, so I think for other positions, it's much harder. You have to read the tea leaves statistically a lot more. But there are like, you like to see some passing game. You like to see some golazo set pieces. Bernardo Cuevas. Bernardo Cuevas. Bernardo Cuevas. There we go. Set piece. Maestro. Bernardo Cuevas. I think this ended up being an own goal, but I think this is an own goal. It is an own goal. That's very fun. That's my set piece coach. And if he doesn't score it, Enzo scores it. Incredible. Lord Flacky says Rob Sanchez claims that with the goat emoji. He absolutely does. He's a much better set piece and cross defending goalkeeper than Mike Maignan. That much is true. That much is true. Let's late to join. Have you talked about how you would handle the Colwill situation from Jepson forever? I have not talked about it. I have tweeted about it. To me, I think Chelsea have enough center back talent that you want to learn stuff about, and there is not an obvious market opportunity, if I was to phrase it that way, that you really want to do, that it's worth it to me to go buy somebody. Like, if you want to keep Vega around, or you want to play Josh more, or you think you'll play Hato more center back minutes than you anticipate. Like, those are all solutions. If Fofana is somewhat healthier than last year, like the way to me to look at it is like Colwill played like 36 league games last year or something ridiculous, 35 league games. How do you replace Golasso? JP off of Pedro Neto, cross, Golasso. Maybe he just is actually Ronaldo. Maybe he is the OG R9. That would significantly increase this team's ceiling if Pedro is just Ronaldo Nazario Nascimento dos Santos. This is so funny. We're not even playing well. We keep getting like cut through and then turning it over, and then and then it's like, yeah, all right, cool. I'll just play a perfect cross. Tamori, don't mark anybody. All right, sure. Why not? Boom, golazo. Golazo. Yes, I think we're winning the league. I think that's my takeaway. We're winning the league. Or at least we would win the Europa League. Guaranteed we would win the Europa League based on these performances. But yeah, so like if you think about Colwill, like if I pull up Chelsea's minutes from last year, right? Colwill played 3,200 league minutes. So it's like, how do you replace 3,200 league minutes? Well, off rip, Josh played 170. Can you get him to 1,000 league minutes at center back? And there's a third, right? Or a quarter of his minutes. Chalobah played 900 minutes. He's going to be here for the whole season. I would expect he will be like 2,500 minutes plus. There's another 1,500 center back minutes gone. And so now you have another 800 to make up. And it's like, okay, can you get Fofana to 2,000 league minutes? And all of a sudden you have covered all of the minutes, right? Just by having Chalobah here for the whole year, by Fofana being slightly fitter, and then getting there. You have Tosin. Tosin didn't play that many league minutes last year, right? Like how I think you can for those who've like watched Moneyball, like we can't replace Giambi, but we can replace him in the aggregate. Like I think that's gonna be the approach to Colwill. Because the reality is if you want to go get another Colwill, like it's a huge money signing. I think he's probably the best left-footed center back prospect on the planet. And like what about Badiashile? Like what is like Badiashile didn't play hardly played any league minutes. And if you want the lefty, like I think there's um I think like Badiashile is another one who's gonna eat a ton of minutes for you. So like I think between Chalobah and Badiashile, and Tosin and Fofana and Josh, like you can just get there with the guys you have. I don't think you need to go buy someone if you want to. But that's kind of where I'm at. Now, if they were like if they had like gotten a move for Badiashile, I would say you have to go buy a lefty if you're not going to play Hato a lot. That would be kind of one of the things I would be looking at. Well done, Balberto. Look at that ball playing skill. Look at that ball playing skill from Balberto. That's actually quite good defending by Tomori. It's fun. Isn't soccer so much more fun when every shot goes in? Because I personally love when every shot goes in. It really does make the sport significantly more fun. Yeah, Josh Ray says, agree the minutes are replaceable, but personally would be happy to re-roll the Badiashile money. Yeah, like that's the thing. If you could get off, I actually really like Badiashile. Like I think he's really good. He just has like not played, and he has not played more than he has been injured. He's been injured some, but more of it has been not playing. I think if you I think if you could re-roll Badiashile into like Kouliarakis, like Panofooty's not here, but Kouliarakis has popped on some stuff I've looked at, or Alessandro Ribeiro at Lille. Like there's a few guys in that like lefty big passer role that exist. I think they are all slightly overrated though, because I find that when you get that like weird, you get that like role of like this guy's a lefty passer big unicorn, and then they're available for like a reasonable fee. Like there must be something there that makes their fee reasonable, because otherwise it shouldn't be a reasonable fee. And usually it's they just make a ton of errors. Like that's the thing they do. Or they're injury prone. But you never know. Let's see. Kadar says your odds of being serious title contenders aren't that high, so the cost of the downgrade of Cole with the rest of the guys isn't so detrimental. I think that's exactly the way to approach it. Is the odds of you being a title contender this year are very low. Like I just don't think there are quite enough goals in this team yet. And you and I hope a bunch of you watched the John McKenzie podcast, because I think we talked about some of the things that defensively Chelsea were not good enough at last year and need to be better. And I think like you need like 20 goals to be competitive for the title. Goals for or goals against reduced, and that's a pretty hard swing to get to. So, but I think Chelsea are considerably better than whoever you think the fifth best team in England is, whether that's Villa or Newcastle. Like I think there's a pretty big gap there. So I think you're safe on like a fact-finding mission of like, yeah, we can afford to give Josh more minutes, and we can afford to do whatever more Chalobah for the whole season, and we can afford to do whatever some Hato center back minutes or whatever you want. I think that one is a pretty easy like risk management scenario. Jepson says seems like a lot of rolling dice on Josh making leave, Fofana and Benoit being healthy. That's definitely true, right? Like I will say Chelsea know Fofana's health situation better than all of us. Like he was not fit enough to even dress for this weekend, but Maresca says he will be available for the first game of the season, or he may be available for the first game of the season. That seems impossible to me. Um, and given how things have gone for Fofana, I would skew more conservative than that. But you never know. So like, but if they're confident that he's going to play real minutes, then I have no reason to doubt that. You know what I mean? Um, Josh Ray says flip side is that if Colwill is 18 months until he's himself again, then not getting some talent injection, maybe it's Josh in the next 12 months, puts next season's odds in limbo too. I think the more realistic view of that is you see how things go to until January, and the community shield is on, and Wirtz set up Ekatike. That's pretty fun. That's not shocking to me. Um, I think if you're gonna, I think you're just gonna take it in phases. Like you're gonna look at the first 6 months and you're gonna decide, and then you're gonna look at the next 6 months and you're gonna decide. And it would not shock me at all if they went into next summer and said, okay, we came third or we came fourth again, and like the real problem this time was, oh man, a better weighted pass and Palmer was gone there. Like the there's a real chance that you just survive the season and you come third or fourth and you're like, yeah, this was better, but like still not great, and like we can definitely upgrade on your Tosins or your Chalobas or your whoever's, and you just decide like, okay, yeah, no problem. Like I think Tosin is not very good. Like I think he's a fine squad rotation level player, but like he's getting ragdolled by Rafael Leao here. Like this is not going well for him. Oh, João Pedro's through again. That's a red card. Goodbye. That's a red card in a friendly. Tamori should go. Or not Tamori, whoever it is. That's a dog so red card to me. I hope they do not give the red card for the purposes of the friendly, but that's a red card. Yeah, red card. Thank you. But like I wish for the purposes of the friendly they did not give this. I wonder because this is like not a competitive thing. Wow, he first off, what a pass, Bob Sanchez. But I think that's the correct. I actually think if he didn't give this, I don't think VAR would have. Because so like one of the considerations for Dogso is like how likely are they going to get to the ball first, and then if they get to the ball, how big a chance is it? And you have to like put both of those, you have to like multiply those probabilities together. And a lot of the time the referees will look at something like that bouncing ball like pretty quick going away from him, maybe he gets to it, maybe he doesn't with the goalkeeper, and we'll decide like, no, I don't think this is a red card. I think this is correctly given a red card, but I wish for the purposes of the game it was not. Like, yeah, just let Milan bring on another player. Rahul Ranjan says should have force subbed him off. Yeah, that's how I think you should handle it. He has to go off the field and is not allowed to play anymore. But Milan can sub him on, somebody on for him. Also, apparently the guy who just got sent off is it is his first ever start for Milan, which is really funny. Andre Kubis, own goal and a red card 20 minutes into his first ever start, so it's funny. Sanchez has stolen Mainen's distribution like Shang Tsung. I don't know who Shang Tsung is, but that sounds pretty funny. Uy. Palmer hits the post, maybe? Not bad. WebDev says, with this kind of injury, there's always a real percent that Colwill can never be the same athletically, and the club needs to factor that in. Yeah, but I think you're fine to wait and decide on that. The other thing is, I would say, like, ACL recovery is significantly better than it was even 10 years ago. I think the probability that Colwill is worse than he was, or worse than the trajectory he was on for the rest of his career, is real. But I think the probability that he's like a meaningfully worse player is actually very low. Maybe not very low, but it's not that high. Like I would not be making long-term decisions worried about Colwill. At least not yet. But I think in their like long-term squad planning, center back was probably on the cards for next summer anyways, to decide what you want to do there. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited. I think that'll be fun. Kadar says I'd rather see if Josh pops. For sure. For sure. I think like seeing what happens with Josh is a very exciting thing. I thought he looked really good against Leverkusen. I thought like people were saying like I don't think he can play the middle of the three. I thought he looked totally fine there. I think there is kind of I think there is a lot of Palmer, go on then. I think there's a lot of talk with like the middle center back with like what do you do with the middle of the three player? And like people talk about it like Colwill was there every single game, which like honestly most of the time he wasn't, because they very rarely used Cucurella as the left center back in the three to build it. I think you can go one of two ways. One, you can have your absolute best passer there who's going to dictate everything and do all the moving around and all the chess pieces. Or you can put your absolute worst passer there. You can put your absolute worst passer there and just ignore him and don't give him the ball. You can just like put Fofana there and be like, no, you don't get to play. I think for Fofana, because he's such a plus as a dribbler, that's not a good idea. But like, you can get away with putting different players there. No problem. Like, if for some reason they were like, actually, we want to keep Disasi now, you could do that. You could do that with Disasi, I think. And I wouldn't be worried about it. See if Palmer sticks one in the top corner again. Yeah, go over the wall this time because you went the other way last time. Zing! Oh my goodness. His radar is like 6 inches off. Roshan says best passer in the center helps from an angles point of view, but as long as 2/3 are good passers, are probably fine. Well, the thing with having the best passer in the middle is like they control the tempo, and so like if someone steps out to bait them, like they're the most comfortable choosing the solution. Whereas like if you are wider, solutions can be forced upon you by how the defenders press you, right? Like even if the pressure comes one way to someone in the middle, like you can be clever to go around it. Whereas if you're on the side and you get forced one way, like you are going to get forced one way because you have the sideline. I think one of the things we will see, and we saw a lot last year, was Maresca would play around with how wide the three were. Like sometimes they were very wide and sometimes they were really narrow. And like when your three is really narrow, they are effectively all the middle player, and it's very, very, very hard to go on JBG. Okay, 1v1 in the box. No, not great. Effectively, all three of them are the middle player, and they're all very hard to press. So you get really, really interesting angles to move from there. I guess they're doing a drinks break because it's hot. I'm gonna turn my air conditioning off because it is cold. So give me 1 second. We back. Pretty happy with the first 25 minutes. I cannot lie to you. Somebody said Kadar said JP looking like a foul magnet. Yeah, that was one of the things that he did at Brighton really well that I thought would translate was the foul winning. Same with Delap, right? Same with Delap. Sir Valerian, speaking of ACL injuries, as a Canadian who plays Football Manager, it took me way too long to realize doing your cruciate ligaments was your ACL. It could also be your MCL or your PCL or your LCL, but yes, generally. It is funny. I have my boss at work is Scottish, and I told him like, oh, I tore my ACL, so I was out of work or I was out of office for a little bit, and he told someone else that I tore my cruciate, and they didn't know what a cruciate was, and so when I came back, they were like, oh my god, like, is your heart okay? And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, we heard you tore your cruciate, and I was like, that's my ACL, my knee, and they just didn't know. And I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I think honestly, looking at this replay again, I think this is actually. I don't know if that's quite a red. Like he could maybe. I don't know if it wasn't given. I don't think it would have been VAR'd. I don't think it would have been VAR'd. I don't know. These people thought your cruciate was like your heart or something. Or this person thought that, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Rahul says, with football getting so technical, whatever happened to Janino-esque mid-long range free kicks? I mean, the same thing happened to those that happened to long shots in general, is that like teams have gotten smarter and have recognized shooting from 40 yards out, like from here, is just not worth it. Like it's a mostly negative expected value play. So you don't do it. You keep the ball or you cross it or you do something else. It's just too hard to score. And like goalkeepers have gotten better as well. Like you look at some of those Tosin versus like a rapid style 9 is like maybe not the one. He's having a bit of a time. I think they swapped him and Trev as well, and then Leao just went back to him and was like, no, I want you, which I think is pretty funny. Ooh, what a goal that would have been. So you know what? Actually, if I want to talk about one thing that I have loved through 120 minutes of preseason, we have done such a better job of getting numbers in the box consistently from wide areas. Like that chance happens because the 9, the 10, and the winger are all in the box. So that when Enzo looks for the Neto overlap and the defenders have to manage that 2v1, like, so here, like Milan are back 5, and you end up in this situation where Neto goes in depth, Enzo has the ball in the pocket, Pedro makes the near post run, Palmer arrives, but most importantly, Gittins is narrow. What happens is Gittins gets picked up, This player is going to deal with the 2v1 of Enzo and Neto. So then the center back has to come over, and then this center back has to follow Palmer, who ends up free. Like, you're just able to get 3v3 in the box all the time because we're actually getting the numbers in there. Is the biggest thing I noticed against Leverkusen is, like, you look at João Pedro's goal, or you look at Estevao's goal, or you look at whatever moment. There are actually 3 or 4 players in the box on every single box attack. Which, like, if you look at, somebody used to tweet this really good plot. I think it was James York from StatsBomb. Used to put out this really good plot that was just number of players in the box when a shot is taken for every team in Europe. And it was literally the versus number of shots. And it was like all the teams who get lots of shots consistently get guys in the box, and the way they get shots is by getting guys in the box. There is a guy called Teodo Football who's an Atlanta United fan who does MLS stuff, and he has a meme that he takes Brad Pitt from the Moneyball movie, and they're like, why do we like him? Because he gets on base. It's that scene, but instead of gets on base, it's because he gets in the box. And it is my favorite. It is my favorite soccer meme. That and the one from Alex FRCO that's like the one where midfield is just like ball magically moves from one end to the other, and it's like, grr, stop the ball, and then like try and score the ball. Those two get a tremendous amount of use in my life. Also, Enzo a lot deeper in possession today, eh? This is not what I expected. I thought he'd be much higher, even we're playing a back 3 team. Though I have forgotten that they are playing without a player. So maybe that's why it was so easy to get Palmer free in the box there. Here we go. Rafael Leao, 1v1. Well done, Reece James. We've seen that before. We've seen him pocket him. If Sanchez was the Milan goalkeeper, they do not concede both goals. The second one, I think, is the header. I think is not anything to do with mine. It's like pretty far out. Like, you're definitely not, and it's a flat, low cross. You're definitely not coming for that. The first one, maybe though. See, like, this is so much less a dangerous situation because there's only 2. If Palmer is also there and maybe Cucurella gets there, it's a much, much better situation for you. Oh, what a pass, Caicedo. Jesus. Maybe a placebo, but I'm really liking the difference between Gittins and Sancho so far. Yeah, I think the thing with Gittins is, like, he's just a much better athlete than Sancho is. So, like, when he goes by guys, he really goes by guys. And he's much more of a threat off ball because he's pretty quick. I think the thing that will really stand out with Sancho versus Gittins, though, is Gittins turns it over a lot. Sancho did not at all. His ball retention was phenomenal. And that I think we will miss somewhat. He's also definitely a better defender than Sancho is. We'll see. Gittins is like he's a project. Like, he needs a lot of work. Some stuff he's going to do is really great, and some stuff he's going to do is going to need a lot of work. Like, and I think that's okay. Caicedo's a joke, man. What a player. What a player. Roshan Shesh, another fun thing I noticed that Enzo likes to box crash left while Santos prefers right. Delap ended up running the same spot as Santos a few times. Yeah, players have their preferences, right? But a lot of times that's because Enzo is like the left 10 explicitly. Whereas Santos was like on the right side in play yesterday. But for sure, it's a thing you have to be mindful of is like what side guys end up on. Oh, Ruben is so good, man. I miss that guy. Ruben's actually a player that like I think would have thrived last year. The way Chelsea play now, I think he actually would have been just like lights out good. Also, what is this like Milan alternative logo? It looks like the Leal logo. It's like a lion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going up there. Um, Fuzzbrain, how do I feel about a cheeky Leao bid instead of Garnacho? My thing with Leao is like he is so bad defensively that unless you can convince him to like change his ways as a human being to defend more, it's gonna ruin any defensive ideas. Like we talked about this on the pod with John McKenzie, right? Like for you to construct a reasonable press, like there just is a certain amount of work the attacking players have to get through. So when you think about PSG's press, for example, which I think is pretty good, that whole thing works because Luis Enrique convinced. I don't love Caicedo being asked to step out there, but that whole thing worked because Luis Enrique convinced Ousmane Dembele to defend legit, like to make him really work defensively. And without that, their defensive ideas don't work. And so when you start from there, it becomes very difficult to see how Leao works at a Premier League team. Just the level is like there are no defensive passengers in the Premier League. Like it is just too hard to do that. However, I think he is a ridiculously good attacking player. So like, yeah, if you're asking me, would I rather Leao than Gittins or Garnacho, like purely as a player, yes. But I think the fee plus the wages plus the defensive considerations make it a bit stush to me. But he's good. The guy is super legit. If they, for example, got a big fee for Jackson and were like, we would do Leao because Leao can also play as a 9, and we want whoever we get as this winger to be able to spend some minutes at the 9 because we only have 2 now. Leao would be interesting to me. Significantly more. Significantly more than if he's just coming to play as a winger. Because if he's just coming to play as a winger, I think defensively it's going to be a big problem. But I think as a 9, you can like hide it more. But the kid's legit. As an attacker, he's stupid. And like the thing with Leao, I think is like, I think you look at him and you say, does he change defensively? And like, if you're honest with it, if you're buying him for a big fee, he's not changing. Because why would he change, right? Like, he's not. He just got a big move, big wages, blah 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 blah. Like he's not. Why would he change his ways as a human being for when it's working for him? You know what I mean? Like I think if you're gonna get Leao, the move would have been like he goes to a really big team and doesn't meet expectations, and then you take him as a rehab project and are like, hey, it didn't work for you. You should maybe try something different. Ooh, that's not great from James. He isn't good enough for you to make up for the defensive stuff too. Yeah, that is I think true. That like you have to be Mbappe level productive to make up for it. And he isn't quite that. Is Neto getting his first touch a bit subpar, or am I expecting too much? I don't know. I think it's like it's happened on a few touches here. It's not a big deal. After the Leverkusen game, Reska said, Asugo is good off the ball, but needs to learn what we do on the ball. What does Maresca need from his CDM on the ball? Well, it's just like cleanliness in like bounces and playing in one touch and like the the like connecting game and just like not turning it over. Like that stuff is very important for the way Chelsea play that he has struggled with a lot. He like needs time to get it face forward and play like that, and he's pretty good at that. I think that's a very harsh. I think that's a very harsh foul call. He falls over because he's trying like an off balance pass, but whatever. Yeah, we've not been great this half, to be honest with you. But still, 7 shots to 3 against like pretty decent team. You'll take that every day of the week. I'm curious to see what subs come at halftime. Offside. Offside. Yeah, I kind of hate that this is I don't like that this game is it's a good line. That's a real good line. It's a great header from Leao though. Yeah, I definitely agree that I'd rather play against 11 than 10 here. So halftime, what subs are we seeing? Curious what chat thinks. What subs are we seeing at halftime here? Yeah, like okay, Gittins. On a surface level, how would I split the minutes between Garnacho and Gittins? Like 70-30 Garnacho, 60-40 Garnacho, 65-35, somewhere in there. Like I just think there are other guys you want having the ball significantly more than Gittins. And if that's the case, you want someone who's dangerous off ball, which means you want Garnacho. That's kind of how I would look at it. Subs, we're seeing João Pedro for Delap. Definitely would do that one at halftime. My guess is, but I think Delap came off at 60, right, on Friday, or did he come off at halftime? Let me look. I think Delap came off at 65 for João Pedro. So my guess is that João Pedro will get 65 minutes, and then Delap will come, just so they can like push them physically a little bit instead of doing 45. Palmer and Caicedo off. Yeah, definitely agree on those two. For Fuzzbrain says Asugo and Delap in. Well done, Bob. Great claim. Yeah, I think Delap will be 65. My guess is like the guys who all played 65, 70 minutes on Friday will either not play or will come with 30 minutes left. They won't come at halftime. I would be doing James off for Josh. That would be one of mine. And I'd probably do Reggie Walsh for Palmer. That might be one for me. Roshan Suresh, Walsh on for Palmer if he has balls. Yeah, like that might be one. Reggie Walsh is probably the one I would do there. Like looking at the bench, let's see what's on the bench here today. I would do yeah, I'd probably do Asugo. And let me see who played what minutes load on Friday, so don't mess up anything. Yeah, I'd probably go Asugo for Caicedo again at half. I am probably doing Reggie Walsh for Palmer at half. I am probably doing Josh for Reese at half. I am Tosin is not having a good day today. That guy is getting ragdolled. Yeah, Tosin's on roller skates. Enzo, I think you probably want to load 65, 75 minutes, so he's not going to go. Neto came on for the last 30, so he's probably going to stay. Like, I think you're fine with Gittins for another 15, 20 minutes. I think you maybe want to do it. I wonder actually if they would go. I wonder actually if they would go Tosin off at half for Hato to play left center back for a bit. Like, just give us like 20 minutes of Hato, Chaloba, Josh as a 3, something like that. Nice cross from JBG. Oh, wow. That was a pretty huge set of chances that somehow we did not score. But see, again, you get the extra player in the box and like you just get an amazing chance out of it. Like, just they've been able to generate tremendous field tilt. WebDev says no. I want to see a proper Anselmino cameo. Yeah, maybe you go Anselmino to play a bunch. Actually, yeah, bring on Anselmino against Leao. Sure, that'll go well. Yeah, I think so. I think halftime I would do Walsh, Asugo, Josh for, and sure, Anselmino. I would do Josh at right back. I'd do Anselmino for Tosin. I would do, yeah, Anselmino for Tosin, Josh for Reese, Asugo for Caicedo, and Walsh for Palmer. That's what I would do. Stephen Clark says Gretel Mino cameo. Listen, Seb has a lot of bits of like just things he says and like language things that he uses a lot. Anselmino Gretelmino is the funniest bit he has ever had. I laugh so hard every time I see it. It's just such a unique thing that like you can't, there is no replacing Anselmino Gretel. Like, that is just peak hilarity. Peak hilarity. Anselmino Gretelmino. So yeah, for the second half I would do, I would leave João Pedro to get 65 minutes. I would take Tosin off for Anselmino. I would take James off for Achimpong. I would take Caicedo off for Asugo. I'd take Palmer off for Walsh. That's where I would be. Chelsea Blue says, Kier, we need a center back. I don't think so. I think you just like, you live with the guys you have and you do what you got to do. Like, I think Leao versus Tosin is like as uniquely bad a matchup that you could craft for that guy. So I think if you're reasonable, it's fine. And again, for like as bad as he has looked, right? Milan have taken 2 shots, neither of them particularly good. And Chelsea have been, I think, very comfortable. 7 shots now. A lot of those from distance, I guess. I don't know. Seb also knows a somewhat disconcerting amount of London slang. He lives in London, so that's probably why. Also, like you're on Twitter long enough and you see it. That's for sure. WebDev says I was about to be slaving away at quant stuff, but your stream reminded me there's a game. Yeah, that's Dimitri comes in and works on McClockbot and just puts it on as background noise, which is funny. I'm always so I do an MLS podcast as well called the American Soccer Analysis Show. It's our podcast for our analytics website, and I go to not a lot of MLS games, but I go to some MLS games when I'm there. And I went to MLS Cup to watch LA Galaxy against New York Red Bull in December, and a bunch of people, and I had a press pass, and a bunch of people came up to me to chat, and they were like, "This is so weird." They're like, "I listen to your voice every week, and now I'm meeting you, but it's your voice, and that's weird." And it is very much a thing that people said, that they're like, "Yeah, you're like, you accompany me on my commute to work." So I always find that very funny. I find that very funny to me. Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious who we play Palace the opening day too, and they're giving Liverpool a decent game right now. They're losing 2-1, but Frimpong got the second one. I want to see the goals. Because I have not seen them yet. I want to see the goals. I want to see the goals. Let's see. Oh, it's just a great finish. Oh, what a turn, too. Zing. Okay. Great goal. Let's see the Mateta penalty. Mateta. Let's see the penalty. Oh, okay, so they just get like ripped through. So like that doesn't look altogether different than like what Leao was doing to. I just say that's not a penalty. That is though. That is a penalty. And then let's see the Frimpong one. Stay dense or get Frimponged. Oh, he's crossed it and it's gone in. That doesn't count.
And Ekitike
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Yeah. Let's see. Who asked me a question in here? Manan Pandya. When it was 11v11, did you think we had some pressing issues? For sure. Like, I think one of the things that this team is legitimately very susceptible to is because we press so man-to-man that if you get done by, like, a slick flick around the corner when you're 1v1 everywhere, like, let's say you end up in some dumb situation like this, right? And you just get done by flicks and tricks around the corners, like, you can give up really juicy stuff with some like tight play. The trade-off in theory is that they are so hard to pull off that you're just going to get transitions the other way. I don't think Chelsea's press was great last year. I don't think they generated enough enough like good high turnovers off of it for how much they had to put themselves out to do it. Like that, I think, is the biggest takeaway from my conversation with John. But you should go watch. Like, it's a full hour of us on the tactics board talking about these are the things Chelsea did, and these are the things the top teams are doing, and this is what went wrong, and this is what can be better. Like, you very rarely get to sit down for that long with a board like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, I think that was very, very fun. Yeah, I don't think the press was very good. 11v11, even 10v11, I don't think it was very good. Even with João Pedro overperforming expectations, going for him instead of Ekitike was such a mistake. Well, it's like it was the price thing, right? Like, I don't think they thought João Pedro was better than Ekitike. But yeah, I'd agree that if you could have gotten Ekitike, you'd be pretty happy about it. Frimpong with the Mudryk special. They should be throwing the Isak money at Barcola. They'd be unstoppable if they did. Yeah, imagine Barcola instead of Gakpo. That'd be a pretty special team. I think there's no. I think Gakpo is like not moving, or I think Barcola is not moving, because there's too many teams who would. There's too many teams who would be in for him, right? Let's see what the timeline's saying. It's always a risk to open up Twitter raw, but let's see what the timeline's saying. Halftime thoughts. Pedro's been so ready for Chelsea. Press has been good. I don't think the press was good at all. Sustaining possession. This I agree with. A lot more quick pass and interchanges. Getting some 1v1 monster. I think that's a little bit kind. James looks good. Yeah, that I agree for sure. What a half. Neto João Pedro goes beautiful. Completely dominated. That I don't agree with. Red is annoying. Yes, I agree. Speed of interchanges, rotations at the edge of the box, especially on the right with the Palmer, Neto, Reece, Enzo, Nexus. Our league's better than last season. Big agree with this one. Like, they've been so much cleaner with their little just like, we are going to fill the space and then we're going to rotate and we're always going to have somebody there. Big agree, Sam, CFC Central. Huge improvement. And I think if you swap Neto for Esteva, I think it's even better. Yeah, that's, I think, fun. Yeah, it looked pretty good. What else we got in here? Dude, Connor Holden has to say, getting step over his ability to create separation is unbelievable. So direct wins the free kick that leads to the first goal. That is true. He did win that free kick with some very good movement. I'm seeing a few guys in shirts and a few guys in pennies. I don't know who's coming on though. I'd like to see Tyreek George again. I thought Tyreek George was really good, man. Against Leverkusen. He's such a good passer. Jeremy Dorn says, did you see the Madueke highlights from the Arsenal friendly? Arteta seems intent to make him into a left winger. I didn't. Let me go look after I read this tweet. Pressing issues on the right. Neto Reece hybrid roles. Yes. Brilliant cross for Neto for the goal. Yes. Cole Palmer looks great. Also agree. Yeah, Cole Palmer looks real good, dude. That to me is really exciting. Let's see. No, I did not watch The only thing I saw from this game was some set piece stuff because Arsenal run some really fun set pieces. Yeah, I mean, like, I see why they want Madueke as a left winger because, like, he's not going to play over Saka, but he's good enough. He's better than Martinelli, so you want to play him more. And like he when he was in Holland, he was a very good passer. So like, there's no reason he can't be dangerous from the left. The shape of his danger will be very different than it is on the right, but I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, like that's a great pass. Another great pass. There you go. Like I think Madueke is going to be really good, man, for them. I think it'll look different. It won't be as many goals. But if you told me he's like a 0.5 xG plus XA winger, but it's more like 50-50 xG versus XA instead of like 70-30 or 75-25, that's I would expect that or believe that. Arsenal are also like weirdly low event, so you got to be mindful of that. They did a shootout in a 3-0 game. It's kind of weird, but okay. If George had getting speed, he'd be so good. Yeah, that's the thing. He's like not his ability to create separation isn't super high. Roshan Stress, just a question if he can get shots off. Yeah, that's the big one, right? Can he get shots off from the left? Looks like no subs at halftime. I still see Cucurella. I still see James is off, I think, maybe. Nope, no, it's the same. It is the same 11 that ended the first half. No subs, I think. Yeah, no subs. Okay. Luka Modric coming on for Milan. That's fun. Midfielder who can't run when you get 10 men. That seems wise to me, but I'm not a. Allegri has forgotten more about football than I will ever know. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty happy with that first half, I think. I'm not like over the moon. Also, I think somebody told me Flash Score has preseason XG. The 1.3 to 0.3. You'll take that, my friends. You'll take that. Interesting. Well, I have that there now. Alrighty, second half is starting. We just kicked off if you're trying to sync up with me. How old is Modric now? I think he's like 38 or 37. Dude's old, but he can ball. A friend of mine went to Qatar for the World Cup, and he's Croatian. And in Qatar, because there were special licenses basically for you to drink in places. So there were only so many hangout spots for the teams that after Croatia got eliminated, a bunch of my buddy and his Croatian buddies all went around and they just went from like bar to bar to bar to bar until they found the Croatian players. And then they just hang out at the bar with the Croatian players. And he said Luka Modric was very nice. He said his favorite was Gvardiol, though, because Gvardiol was like going nuts. But that Luka Modric was very, very nice and very respectful and like very like appreciative that they traveled to Qatar to watch their team. It was like a whole thing. I have never liked how steep the off pitch is at Stamford Bridge. It feels very injury risk. I like it because the fans are very like close, but I feel like there's a better way than that weird slope that they have. It seems dangerous to me. Do 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 do. Another set piece. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, and I just feel like we're getting transitioned a lot for having a player advantage, which I don't love. You know what I mean? I don't love that at all. Let's see. I wonder how different football would be if we got Modric in 2011 instead of Morales. Isn't that a fun thought? Very different, I assume. Very different, I assume. That's same with like I think about the Torres Aguero sliding doors moment where they get Torres instead of Aguero. Like that's a big swing. But you know what? Like there are probably other sliding doors moments of like we got Hazard, we got Eden Hazard instead of somebody else. Or we got I don't know, whoever. Take your pick. We got whatever player instead of that was good instead of whatever player that ended up much worse. I feel like we've seen get into the back post a few crosses. That's something you saw in his film. No, he was actually not great at arriving at the back post in the film. It was one of the things that I was like, you need to do much more of this. But it's also a thing that Maresca has talked a lot. He talked a lot about last season with Mudryk of like, I need my winger to get to the back post. So it would not be shocking if he was harping on it a lot. Yeah, would not be shocking. The impressed in getting Lukaku, Van Dijk, second season Conte. Yeah, that would have been fun. Cole Palmer sliding doors with Barcola is weirdly a win-win. Yeah, another one. The difference between watching Estevao set piece and the rest of our squad, bar Palmer sometimes, is stark. Yeah, Estevao's dead balls are deadly, man. That was one of the things I flagged up on the video that like, oh, that's going to be a weapon for Chelsea this year. Like it's going to be very helpful. It's going to be very helpful. What was the Chelsea transfer I was the most excited about ever? Definitely Torres. Definitely Torres. I was in high school. I changed my Facebook profile picture to Torres' signing photo. I like there were like 3 or 4 other Chelsea fans at school and I like we talked about it all day every day and it was like kind of early days Twitter. So like I had a BlackBerry and I had Twitter and my other friends didn't have Twitter. So I messaged in our BBM chat, meet me in the hall right now, and showed them the picture of Torres signing on deadline day. It also was a very different time where like now there's like so much movement before the deal gets done that all just happens in public, right? Like Oh, what a cross, Reese. Like Enzo or Caicedo or whatever player you're really excited about. Like we get 85 million leaks and links from Fab and from Ornstein and from whoever that like when it happens, there's no pop. It's not a big surprise. Like, but the thing with like Torres was like, nobody knew we were getting Torres until we got Torres. You know what I mean? Like, it probably was not reported that way. Havertz, I was super excited for Havertz because that one they kept pretty quiet and was really big and is a player I love and was like probably the okay. Reese is done 52. Oh no, he's not. Never mind. Just went to hug somebody. Trying to think what other ones I was really. Timo Werner, got that one wrong for sure, but like that was a player I really liked and was another one that had no build up to it. I'm trying to think who else I was like really excited for. Oh, Chaloba's hurt. And it's non-contact and he's grabbing his ankle. Please don't be serious. Please don't be an Achilles. That's all I want. Oh, it's just a roll. It's just a roll. Okay, it could be worse. It could be worse. I thought it was an Achilles. It could be worse. It's just the roll. Yeah, Leao is ragdolling Tosin. Let's see. Early Abramovich was so fun pre-Twitter. Constant links to all the big players. Used to be so excited to see stuff on teletext. Balak free transfer to Chelsea. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Oh, well done, Reece James. Wow. Well done, Reece James. Yeah, not great, JBG. Not great, JBG. Watch along curse again. Don't put that on me. It's not my fault he rolled his ankle. Not gonna lie to you, I don't think JBG's had a great game. I don't think he's had a good one. Yeah, Tosin's a pylon when people see like Yunus Musa gets a 1v1 with the goalkeeper and doesn't even turn it into a shot. This guy's buns. Also, is Chalobah still off the pitch? What's that? Can we get this? I'm tired of this 10v10 track meet BS. Okay, so he looks all right. He's not dying or anything. He's not even limping. Okay, maybe he's limping a little bit, but did they bring Josh? I saw a large man. I saw a very large human being. I think Josh is gonna play real minutes this year, man. I think it's gonna happen. Yeah, my boy Josh. Let's go. Let's go. What were my expectations before the first Conte season? The summer we got Alonso, Conte, Batshuayi, and Luis. Um, pretty high, mostly because the season before, the like Mourinho collapse season, Chelsea were never as bad as they were in the table. They were like significantly better underlying metrics than they actually played. Um, and so I think it was like, okay, I'm not worried about us being like not competitive for Champions League. And then it was like Conte at the time was like, this guy's like actually a legit god tier coach. Um, and like it took some time, and like the games where they were playing 4-2-4 did not really work. And then the 3-4-3 was magic. But I thought they would. I didn't think they'd be title competitive, but I thought they'd be like good. Is my remembrance of. Oh, Enzo, you gotta slide Neto there, buddy. That's the wrong call. Is Estevao better than Neto? As an attacker, yes. Defensively, no. Oh my god, mine end nearly with a howler. A howler. I like Estevao. I think he's like significantly ahead of schedule. Again, I think about my projection video that was like 6 weeks ago. I had him at like 1,200 minutes, 1,500 minutes, and like definitely sub 10 goals and assists. And like now he's taking dead balls, and he looks really good, and he had 3 box shots and 3 shot assists and a goal in his debut. Well, preseasons aren't debuts, but his first match ever for Chelsea against a real team. Like that's pretty legit. I remember the 3-0 first half friendly when Costa was throwing fits in Conte's first preseason. I thought it's over. Hey, didn't his first preseason go really poorly? I remember, I don't know if it was his first preseason or his second preseason. Fabregas getting a red in against United in Michigan, but I think that might have been his second preseason. But yeah, I remember a big nasty Fabregas red card. What are my thoughts on Steve's off-ball stuff? I think as like an off-ball runner, he is very good. Like, I think it is his movement off-ball as a depth threat is very good. And like his connective stuff to run behind and blah 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 blah, very 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 legit. I think defensively he needs a lot of work, but he tries hard, which is fine. That's for his age, that's okay. So we got Delap off, or Delap on for Pedro. We got Estevao off for someone. Oh, we got Enzo off for Andre Santos, and we got Reece James off for Gusto, and we have someone going off for Estevao. I don't know who yet. I don't know who. Palmer off for Estevao. Estevao is a 10. Okay. Interesting. I've been surprised by this Estevao 10 stuff. Like I don't think that's gonna be the one for me, but sure. Delap's first action is he just barges Tomori. Andy says not watching, following through the stream since I'm driving, but signs of encouragement from Joe Pedro. First off, typing in the chat while you're driving is unhinged. So don't text and drive. However, I thought Joe Pedro had a good game. Like he's just a handful to run in behind, and he's very big and fast and strong, and like all those things are very valuable. He is finishing at an unsustainable rate. Like I don't think he's going to score every game. I don't like. He only took 1 shot today in a half that Chelsea were pretty comfortable and up a player for most of. In 60 minutes, he took 1 shot and scored it. Like the shot volume, I think, is going to be a problem with him. but I'd certainly rather a player finish hot than cold. I love how much Andre Santos just fouls people. Like, just pop, doesn't matter. Oh, you got to look the back post. You got to look the back post. Oh, Gittins blazes over. Should do better. Should do better, Mr. Gittins. During the Conti season, the heist we pulled off at the Etihad is one of my favorite games ever. Felt like unadulterated crack. Didn't think we could do it with Matic out. Yeah, that game, the Hazard transition finish where he opens up to bait Bravo and then closes his hips, and it does the thing with the Etihad nets where like they have the bar, they have that bar around the bottom, and it lifts it up, so you get like a slap when it scores. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite Chelsea goals. That team was so fun to watch in transition. Like they just did some really special things. That team was so fun. Yeah, Matic. You know, Matic is a player I loved. Matic was like when Chelsea signed him. First off, my Steam profile picture for a long time was a picture of Nemanja Matic in training, which like tells you everything you need to know about me as a person. However, Matic, when he signed, I went and watched like so much Benfica film, and this was early days. I didn't have a Y Scout. I didn't have whatever, and I watched so much film, and I was like, oh, I think this guy might actually be really good. And the first game he played, if anyone remembers, he came on as a sub against Sunderland, and he came on and was just like zing, pass, 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 zing, like everything so perfectly weighted. And I was like, oh, you're really good. And then the very next game, they played City away and they drew 0-0. And it was like City away, and it was like him and David Luiz in midfield or something ridiculous. Or maybe not David Luiz, but it was like a ropey team. They played City away, and he's hit the bar from like 40 yards out. And I was like, oh, he's just like the best player on the field. Yeah, Matic was like very good. Very, very fun player. I'd actually be curious to see like if we had like event data going back that far, which it exists somewhere. I just don't have it. But I'd be very curious to see what he graded out in terms of like progressive passes and stuff like that. What he would look like. Well, that's a sneaky good pass, Mr. Delap. Penalty. Estevao wins a penalty. He comes on and he wins the penalty. Hussein Kari had shot on the post. Yeah, Matic hit the bar against City from distance. Let Estevao take it. Come on. Actually, I'm very curious about this. No Palmer on the field. Who takes it? I'm going to bet Delap. But that's actually a very good cross. And Estevao does well to win it. But again, look at like numbers in the box. Like you have your 9 is out wide, so Estevao and Andre Santos fill the space. Like you're pretty happy with that. You're pretty happy with that. Yeah, Delap is taking it. That's no shock to me. I am unsurprised. Let's see. Do 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 do. Does Delap score? Yes. 3-0. Not bad. Great penalty. Lovely, lovely stuff. Joao Pedro giving him a clap. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. No, Delap is an okay crosser. He's a bad passer, but he's a good crosser. That's definitely a thing that we've seen so far. It's a good penalty. Not in a great spot, but he just absolutely rips it. Sure. Love that for Mishta. Apparently so I don't have sound on because I have like a little streaming box set up for my second monitor for when I want to do watch alongs. So I have like DAZN and Peacock and Paramount Plus and whatever on there. But I don't have speakers on that monitor, so I don't have any sound for this. And apparently the Matthew Harding end is singing "You're Just a Shit" Robert Sanchez at Mike Magnan, which, if true, is hysterical. This is how you know the vibes are very good right now. That's very fun. Very, very, very fun. Again, I said this earlier, but if you joined a little bit late or came later, if you joined or came later, I am recording the podcast with Chelsea Youth in a couple of hours' time. So if you have questions for that podcast, drop them in my DM on Twitter or put them in the chat, and I'll try and remember them. I've gotten a few DMs from people already, but we're going to talk about how the academy uses data and what that looks like for some of the young teams, a thing that I think doesn't get talked about a lot. And we'll talk about some specific players and some squad planning, and it'll be it'll be a better audio experience than the John McKenzie one. It won't be as great a video. Like, there's not going to be anything we show on screen. It'll just be the Zoom of us. But that is coming. So if you have questions for it, drop it in my DM or in the chat, and I'll try to remember as best I can. Andy S is Wirtz better than Palmer? No, I think Palmer is better than Wirtz. Great block, Josh Achimpong. Have I seen any data on the 15 million Danish center back Hogsberg to Strasbourg? I have not seen any data on him. Oh, that's a rubbish goal to concede. That's a very poor goal to concede. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. What happened? Let's see. I'm going to guess Tosin gets dragged out and loses a runner off his shoulder. Am I correct? No, it's kind of both of him and Gusto. That's pretty not great. It's also very poor defending from Neto, letting him dribble inside. Yeah, that's not great. That's a good little slip, though, from their wide player. Yeah, that's pretty poor defending all around. Jonathan Evans defense today. Yeah, we have not defended. We have not defended at all. I think we've defended very poorly today. But that's okay. Chelsea Youth face reveal. I have no idea. I assume not. I assume he will have the logo up for the purposes of the pod. Please ask him how different academies compete for talent. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. What happened? Gusto happened. Yeah, that's very fair. Stamford Bridge vibes have been good. Can't wait for Chelsea to lose 2-1 to Palace next week. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Hogsberg. We were talking about Hogsberg. So I have not watched him. I have not seen data on him. The piece of feedback that I have received about him from someone based in Europe who looks like this player was on lists that they're looking at, was that he's probably going to be a solid career pro, but they probably won't make a tremendous amount of money. Like, he's a guy who will move for 15 million 4 times, but won't move for 40 million, is the piece of feedback I got. But let's see. I'd like to see Pedro and Jackson as my 2 options for the 9, and somebody says, I hope we can stumble into holding on to Jackson. Wouldn't that be great? Jeremy Dorn says, I'd be curious to hear of how the sporting structure's treatment of academy players has impacted youth recruitment, if at all. Yeah, the one of the big things we're going to talk about is the changes at the academy since the takeover and how things are different now. That's very much on the docket. Big Reggie Walsh appearance, my man. Tyreek George is on for, I assume, Gittins or Neto. Jorel Hato is on. It's fun. So it looks like their plan was for the starter guys to get 45 in the first game and then 60 to 65 in the second game, which, like, fair enough. Palmer, Caicedo, Cucurella, all those guys. Asu goes on. That's fun. Reggie Walsh is like, me? I'm taking the kickoff? Okay. So Esteval's out wide now. WebDev says, I wonder if we can flip Delap, especially when the guy from Strasbourg, who he means Omega, comes in for the 9. I think the whole thing with the Delap deal is, like, you can, if you need to get out of it, you can very easily. I'm very surprised that Hato is in midfield and Gusto is in the 3. Like, that is not how I would use those 2 profiles. But I'm not sure, I guess. It's preseason. See if he can do it before you limit him to not doing it. But I don't, between the 2, I think that is not how I would do this. Sugo on the ball. OMG Esteval. Let's see. I'm a little bit behind that person. Did he stick it top bins? That would have been fun. Kid can shoot. Kid can let it rip. That is for sure. The thing that I'm kind of annoyed about this with Milan getting the red card early is, like, it has turned into a little bit of a, like, players are not robots. Like, as soon as the game gets a bit dumb because of the red card, like, everybody takes it less seriously, which kind of sucks. Here we go. Esteval in swinger, baby. Give me a Bernardo Quavers. Please be a corner. Oh, goal kick. That's annoying. Andy, notice that there's a narrative going around that our 2021 Champions League win was a miracle run. We were clearly the best team in Europe in the second half of the season, had all-time defense. Yeah, I think when you look at that run, it was a miracle run in that before the Champions League run, Chelsea were, like, good but not great. Like, they were the 4th best team or 3rd best team in England by a distance, though. Like, they were like mid-table, but they were getting pretty unlucky with their results, and, like, not dangerous for something like that. And then Tuchel came in and is like, actually, we are the best defensive team since 2014, or since 2004 Chelsea, rather. So I think that, like, was the miracle part, but I think the actual performances in the run, it was significantly less fortunate than many other Champions League runs. I think they were actually probably a little bit fortunate about who they got, in terms of opposition because they got a bunch of teams who like could not match their style. Like they got to play Porto and Atletico, who are was it Porto and Atletico? They had Porto, they had Real Madrid. I think it was Porto and Atletico. But like even Real Madrid, like as good as Real Madrid were, they were not they could not really like hang as a it was Atletico then Porto. Like neither of those teams were like dangerous as in possession teams. And then Real Madrid are like good, but also like could not cope with Chelsea's press. Like they were not a team who could play through pressure. Like all of PSG and Bayern and Barca and even Liverpool would have been significantly worse matchups for that team. But you get who you get. So I think some fortune in who they got in the draw as good style matchups. But they beat everyone pretty comfortably and deservingly. So yeah, I don't love Hado inverted. He like doesn't really know what he's doing. Tie. Oh my god, Estevao. Leaper. WebDev, all the negatives from the Gittins video you did have shown up so far. He didn't take any shots from 40 yards out, so that's a win. But yeah, he again, just be patient. Like I think there's something there. I think you have to be realistic about what he is, and that's okay. I do think though, like it is fun that like the environment around the team and in the fandom right now is mostly pretty positive. So it skews. Go Tyreek. Separation? No, Tyreek. And Tyreek is offside. That's so bad. That's so bad. The like environment is pretty positive right now, so it skews. What is he flagging offside? He's a yard and a half onside. Not even close. Okay. Yeah, there's like enough positivity that everybody's positive about everyone. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, I think this player is going to be really good, and that is certainly like a more fun environment to exist in than like all these players suck. The only player that people seem to think sucks is Jackson for some reason, which I don't know. Oh, Josh, gross. What a dribble. Yeah, Terry just has no burst, bro. He just doesn't go by guys. Thoughts on Alexandro, like the old Brazilian left back who played for Juventus that we were linked with every window for like 10 years. I don't know. He was pretty good. What are my thoughts on Omega? I think Omega's great. I think getting that deal done now at this price for it to go through next summer is very reasonable squad planning. And I think it's a good fit for like we are moving on from Jackson. We need another similar player to that. And it gives you some pressure on like if one of Delap and João Pedro don't work, you have another option right away. Josh versus Ruben Loftus-Cheek in a foot race and arm wrestle is like pretty fun. That's like something written by like a Cobham fan fiction account. But Alexandro, the Lille center back. Yeah, but that's not his name. Isn't it Alessandro Ribeiro? Oh, it is Alex Sandro Ribeiro. Okay. Well, I called him Ribeiro. He's fine. He's an interesting prospect. People like him. I don't like him. I watched a lot of Lille because Jonathan David, and I was not like blown away by him really. Like certainly not that I'm paying a big fee for him. I don't even know what we were talking about now. Oh, Omega. Yeah, you can like do that deal now ahead of next summer, and then if João Pedro or Delap don't happen, you have that player immediately. And if they do happen, like you have pressure from underneath for them to keep going. You also have like if you want to sell one of them because somebody offers you a bunch of money, or if you just hold on to Omega and you do a loan and then you make a bunch of profit on selling him. Like all those things are options for you. Andy, I think Delap sucks. Don't like him at all. And WebDev says, welcome to the club. I don't think he sucks. I think he's just like, he's good at the things he's good at. And he's not good at the things he's not good at. And that's okay. I think as like I think João Pedro will start more often than not. And I think Delap will come on against tired legs. And he will start against weak teams. And then we will see. Rahul Ranjan says Satpayev joins next season as well. I think Satpayev will definitely not play for Chelsea right away. I would be truly shocked. Truly, truly, truly shocked. Like you should expect nothing from him, even though he's scoring lots of goals in Champions League qualifying. But you should not expect much. It's just a super long shot. Like, let's see. Oh. Man, Estevao's like prep touches to set up 1v1s are so good. Oh, that's not a foul. That's a terrible decision. Palace equalized 2-2. Feeling better about picking Arsenal to win the league by the day. By the day. By the day. '85th minute. I'm so excited about Satpayev, just the story alone. It is a cool story. I'm also like, I was a person that when I play Football Manager, I try to collect wonder kids from every tiny nation. Like I will collect the Fijians and the North Koreans. And so the idea of having a Kazakh wonder kid. Like there's a guy that I used to sign. He's a real player. His name is Kafar Kuliev. Yeah, he's Azerbaijani. And I think this is him. No, maybe. Hold on. He was like I think it's this kid. I had one FM save where he just turned into one of the best left backs in the world. And I signed him for very cheap and he was so good. Yeah, that was my boy, Kafar Kuliev. Seattle Sounders have an exciting young prospect from the Arctic. I assume you were talking about Obed Vargas, who I think is from Alaska. Yeah, Obed is from Alaska, but he's Mexican and he's from Alaska. Obed is stupid good though. Yeah, Obed is like dumb good player, but he moved to Washington like young. Like he was born there, but he was not like they didn't scout him in Alaska. He moved to Washington State before he joined their academy. But no, Obed is nice. Obed is nice. Very good prospect. Nikki Ahmed. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Nikki Ahmed is. Oh, a Sri Lankan prospect. That's fun. I don't remember him in the academy at all. Yeah, I don't remember him at all. I remember Fake Bolkia, if anybody remembers him. The son of the Sultan of Brunei, uh, who was in Chelsea's academy for a while. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun one. Fake Bolkia. The richest footballer in the world. He's worth 20 billion. That's fun. Ooh, Asuga a little loose. This game is like really fizzled as a game. When do we see football talent from India and China start to break through? Like probably not. The thing with Milan gets stripped by Delap. That's today's been a good day for the Mike Magnan is not a huge upgrade on bang. Oh, I wanted an Asugo screamer. Go on Asugo, bang, hit him. He has like come on and kick people sub. People are gonna love, man. He's not that good, but like just come on and kick people. I think people are gonna like. Oh, great little pass, Mr. Tyreek George. Tyreek is such a good passer, so sneaky good. Esteval 1v1 out wide. The lap just chilling, and then George does not arrive at the back post. This is a thing for George. Like if I wanted to make a real development point, you have to consistently arrive at the back post all the time. You can reset your movement to get back wide, and it's really easy, but you just have to consistently get to the back post. Consistently. Below a raspberry, Estevez much better on the wing. I think I agree with that. Walsh has been a little bit anonymous here. Tosin going 90 today is not something I anticipated at all, really. Oh, that's a gross goal. Oh. Oh. What a pass, Andre Santos. Holy. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I can't do the like thing where you make your finger snap, so I'm just like doing the action. Holy. Great little entry pass, flick around the corner, bang. Okay, Mr. Delap. We might be good, guys. We might actually be good. We might be good. We might be good at soccer. No injury time. All right, we're out on that one. They said that's enough. The beatings can stop. Again, you're playing against 10 men. Probably shouldn't overreact to that, but pretty good. Uh, well, that was fun. No, Astro Philip, you know what I mean? Like the like I can't like my fingers don't hit together to do that thing. I can snap my fingers, but I can't do the thing. All right, chat. beloved member of our chat, Dylan Payne, says, I slept through the game. How did João Pedro look? I think João Pedro is very good. Won a red card and scored a header. Okay, so web dev, enjoy going back to work. Have fun. So let's we're not going to stay on super long today because I got to do some other stuff. But here's what we're going to do. Based on the two friendlies for Palace, who do I think starts? I think you start Sanchez in goal. I think you start Caicedo and Enzo. I think you start Tosin. So here's the thing. It should be Josh, but it's going to be Tosin. I think it is this. Based on how it has gone so far, I think this is your starting team. I think it is Neto off the left. I think it is Estevao off the right. I think it's JP. I think it's Palmer. I think it's Fernandez. It's Caicedo. And it's James, Tosin, Chalobah, Cucurella. That's my guess. Starting 11 for Palace. I think he starts week 1. I think the boy, the Brazilian wunderkind, starts week 1. That's my guess. And I think you see Andre off the bench. I think you see Delap off the bench. I think you see Gittins off the bench. I think you see Gusto off the bench. I think this is the team for week 1. I think I would go Josh over Tosin, but I don't think that's going to happen. If Chalobah is out because his ankle, it's Josh. But this is my guess. Big up, Kier. Love what you're doing. Thank you, Ty Knott. And Game Razor says, how's it going? I'm having a great time. Jonathan Evans, did I expect that before preseason Club World Cup for Estevao? No, not at all. Estevao having a really good Club World Cup, I think, has like totally changed my projection of him, because I did not think he would transition or translate that well to. I didn't see that happening. You know what I mean? And he was really good. So that, I think, was a surprise. Big surprise. I'm going to get my second monitor on so we can go real big. We can do it big. Okay, let me move you. You're going to go over here. All right. And you're still seeing the right screen. Oh, flawless. I just swapped my monitors. We're all good. Yeah, so this is my 11 for this one. Jeremy Dorn says he thinks the lineup that started today, so Neto right, Gittins left, is how we start. But yeah, I think the Club World Cup stuff for Estevao was really interesting, and that gave me a lot more pause about how he translates. And then I think you should not overreact to preseason. Like, particularly today, like Milan played yesterday. So for some of these guys, like, they played yesterday. I think that's fair to be like, he looked really good. We'll see. Leverkusen are signing Loic Bade for 25 million. That's interesting. Is that Fabrizio? Is that, my guess is they saw Kwanzaa look like hot garbage on Friday and moved on. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that whole pretty happy with the whole thing. I want to see this penalty call, and I want to see the equalizer. Oh, it's all TNT, and I can't see them for some reason. Yeah, man, I'm pretty happy with that. BD says Fabrizio, nice. Speaking of obscure nations, what do I make of Danley Jean-Jacques? So Danley Jean-Jacques plays for the Philadelphia Union, and my Toronto FC drew them yesterday. And he's Haitian. and I like him a lot. He was a Liga guy before he moved last year. He popped on some of the data stuff for the fee that they were going to get him for. He didn't play very much last year because he joined in the summer, and Philly were like pretty settled, but also having a bad year. And he's been really good this year. He plays a lot. He puts up like crazy shot metrics. They play like an insane style for anyone who watches them. Like they play pure energy drink soccer. But he's like really useful, and I think he's interesting. He's just much older as a prospect than people think. I'd like to see a João Pedro and Delap strike partnership at some point. I think what's more likely is you would see João Pedro play as a 10 behind Delap than you would see them ever play truly as 2 9s. I think that is fairly unlikely. Do I think teams are going to rate Brazil better now? Will we see more teams directly pulling from Brazil? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of why it looked so good at the Club World Cup at the team level is that they're in the middle of their season and the teams were at the end of a very long year. I think that was a pretty big indicator for that. Speaking of vibes, the vibes around Palace are immaculate at the moment. I'm going to put the Palace game on because that's going to go to That's going to go to extra time. Why can't I do this? Hold on. What's like the totally legal streaming website now? If I wanted to watch, say, perhaps not legal soccer stream. Let's see. See if I can get myself a good stream here. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, see, I don't have FootyBite. FootyBite.to. I didn't know. I was unaware of this one. Yeah, see that this is. Oh, that stream's dead. All right. We're gonna put this one on. We're gonna keep it small, and we're gonna hope we don't get in trouble for it. That's fine. Actually, I'm not gonna stream it because I'll get in trouble. I will definitely get in trouble for that. You're here, and I put you on top so I can see you in the chat and not just ignore. Yeah. Do I think Salah is finished? He's not been great since the PSG games. Is that? I don't think that's true. I do think that they made an explicit trade-off with his contract of we are going to take some risk on you. No, I would certainly say that's not true. Like he was great against PSG, but like let's see, that's the like 0.1 against Everton is not great, 0.5 against Fulham, 0.9 against West Ham, 1.2 against Leicester, 0.9 against Spurs, 0.5, 0.3, 1, 0.9. Like, no, these are really solid performances. You're not really worried about that. The name of the site is in the chat if you are so inclined. Kier, are you going to be copying a Jonathan David Juventus third shirt this year? Feel like I have to, considering how nice they are. I have not seen the Juventus third kit. Oh, I may just have to. That's sharp. I am absolutely gonna cop a Juventus third kit with David on the back. That's sharp. No, I had not seen that. Bankrupt Ruben, is it like over with Jackson and Chelsea? I think so, unfortunately. I think the well, what I should say is I think probably, but maybe not definitely. Like I think there's a chance that they don't get the valuation they want and they come back together. I don't know if it's super likely because I would bet they'll get the valuation they want. But we'll see. I just think like they have very much done the thing where like we want to get rid of you, but we're only going to get rid of you at our price or if you want to leave, but we're going to make it so you want to leave. You know what I mean? Ooh, inches from Palace. Inches. Community Shield is straight to penalties. Thank you. Bankrupt Sheffield Wednesday are somehow beating Leicester. Who did Leicester appoint as a manager? Let's see. Who is the Marty Cifuentes? Who are you, Marty Cifuentes? You were the QPR coach, and before that, Hammarby and Aalborg and Sandefjord. Sure. And the goal was from Big Nate Chalaba. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this like Leicester team is that good. They got like mucked by PSR. Like this team is like very like Vestergaard is very mid. Stolarczyk is not good. Justin Thomas is or Luke Thomas rather is just okay. James Justin is just okay. Skip I don't think is very good. Sumari I think is like interesting. Fatawu is the only player I look at that I'm like, yeah, you have like real upside as a team. As a player rather. And Jeremy Manga. Also like Patson Daka was like unbelievable and just like didn't translate to England at all. That's fun. Ekatike is insanely good. Blah 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 blah. Trauma of losing Jota will have an impact on Liverpool that's impossible to project. Yeah, I mean it could have a positive effect. They could really rally behind it. The Roma third kits with Ferguson on the back with Evan Ferguson are selling like hotcakes in Ireland. Oh, that's cold. I can see why. It's an Ireland kit. That's so cool though. Man, these Italian teams are coming out with bangers. Why like what our kits are so ugly. Oh, that's so sharp. Oh. Yeah, that's really nice. This one I would not get a name though. The Juve one I would get a name. If Samu goes to Newcastle, where would Jackson even go? Bayern maybe, United maybe. Because if Hoyland goes, they're probably still gonna want another 9. I don't know. I think there's a few options. My guess is Newcastle though. I think Newcastle will end up just settling on him. I still have a weird suspicion that Jackson can become a world-class striker. I think that's personally very reasonable. I can't believe we haven't gotten a front of shirt sponsor. Yeah, I have the same like I would not have waited for the season to get done to haggle over that because I think once the season starts, like there's just a lot of risk if things go wrong. If Cole Palmer tears his ACL tomorrow and all of a sudden your ceiling as a team is 8 points less, like you've just cost yourself 20 million a year for 5 years probably. Noach says, do you rate Glasner as a plus EV coach or is the Palace squad just that good? No, I rate Glasner. He's good. He's legit good. His time in Germany was very strong as well with Eintracht. Is there another Olise level player in the mid table of the Premier League? No, I don't think so. Not at the prices. I think the certainly not with like an affordable release clause like that. I think the player who is most, I don't know, scalable from a mid-table Premier League team to like the big teams right now is probably Adam Wharton. Because I don't think Eze's that good. I don't think Kudus was that good. I don't know if any of the Brighton guys really move me like that. But like Baliba does. Baliba I'm into. Not as much as others, but I'm into. But Wharton is probably the one that I'm like, yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. It's so sad we didn't go for Ekitike if we're just going to sell Jackson. João Pedro's shooting at an unsustainable rate. Can I dare to dream? Can he score 15 goals? He can. I don't think it's going to happen, but he can. How many shots did Ekitike take today? He took 3 shots. 2 inside the box and his goal. 1 was a header miss. Yeah, like I don't know. I think Ekitike is good, man. I think he's really good. Thoughts on Asugo so far? Seems like a great pickup. I think Asugo is like gonna take some time. I think the passing stuff in Asugo's game is less real than he looks like metrically, as it were. Like it's he does not score well on the passing stuff, and I think he's not that good as a passer, but I think the ball winning is very real. And I think his ability to cover ground is very real. And I think that is tremendously useful. I think as a sub, as an energy sub, because one of the things that Chelsea didn't have last year was they did not have a sub to bring on in midfield to run, because Lavia is always injured. And this year you have 2 of them. And I think like one of the things we saw last year is that Chelsea were very bad in the second half of games. Like they declined physically a lot. And a lot of that was the subs. And I think being able to bring Andre and Asugo is really valuable. Andy says, is Asugo another Ugarte? I think profile-wise, they're similar. I think the difference is that Asugo can run and Ugarte cannot. Asugo can cover a lot of ground. And Salah skies his pen. So that is very funny. Very, very, very funny. So that's fun. So that's my thoughts on Asugo. People are asking about Wharton versus Baliba. Would Wharton more than Baliba though? Would be crazy if you know you got Baliba. Why do you prefer Wharton to Baliba? What puts Caicedo ahead of them? So if you look at Baliba, right? What does Baliba do at a really, really high level? Well, he does a couple things. One, he wins the ball a lot because he's very fast. He's very strong. He covers a ton of ground and he can like poke it and tackle and win it. Very real. He can also drive past people as a dribbler carrier. Stupid high level. Stupid high level. He also gets a very good number of shots and box arrivals, mostly off of transitions and his drives, because he's pretty good. All those things are real. What does Baliba do not well? He's not a good passer. He's like okay bouncing and connecting, but he is not a progressive passer. He does not move the ball forward as a passer. He does not move the ball into the box as a passer. Like that is what he does not do. And so when you compare him to Wharton, who is very similar to Baliba in that he also wins the ball a lot. What a save, Dean Hendo. And he tips the cap. That's a fabulous celebration. I love that. The thing when you look at Wharton, right, is Wharton also wins the ball at a very high level. Lots of tackles, lots of interceptions. He also covers ground very well. He's a pretty good passer. He is quite good at screening people in front of him. And then when you look at the in possession stuff, he is not a carrier. He is not dribbling past people. He can receive and like evade pressure, but he is not moving the yards and not moving the chains the way Baliba does in possession. As a you honk, bro. These are terrible penalties. Just smash it in the corner. We just saw Delap do it. But then you look at the in possession stuff. Wharton is not like a zone mover as a dribbler, but he is a legit stud passer. Like 91st percentile progressive passes, and it's very real. Very high on XA for a midfielder. Very good shots created. Very good dead ball taker. And he's a lefty. So between the two, between Wharton and Baliba, I would take Wharton by like a distance. He's also like a full 2 years younger. Almost 3 years younger. So I would skew very heavily towards Wharton between those two. And in terms of somebody said, like, would you prefer Caicedo Wharton or Caicedo Baliba? The obvious answer is Caicedo Wharton. Like, if you were to ask me, Chelsea get to add one midfielder in the world, it's either Tchouaméni or Wharton. I think adding a lefty profile is really helpful, but adding that like deeper pivot, sit, receive, pass, tackle, like true anchor, I think it would be really beneficial. And it frees up Caicedo to like go run and smash people more, which I think is really valuable. But yeah, like I think you can get what Baliba does more easily than paying £100 million for it. And so the thing somebody asked, what puts Caicedo ahead of those two players? The thing that puts Caicedo ahead of those players is that Caicedo does all of the things. He is at least, sorry, I just smashed my mic. He is at least as good a ball winner as those guys, probably more so. But he is almost as good a passer as Wharton, and he is almost as good a carrier as Baliba. He's not as good, but he's almost as good. Like he's slightly worse than those players at both of those things, but he's way better at the thing they're weak at. Which, again, when you think about like planning to play a team, right? Like if you're planning to play against, if you're planning to play against Chelsea and you want to do like Harvey Elliott, these pens honk. If you want to play against Chelsea and you're planning for like how do we do this thing, like it's much harder to plan for Caicedo because like he can both pass and dribble. Like it's difficult. The thing that Caicedo is less good at is like he is less good at like being evasive when he's receiving under the press. Like that is not a weakness, but less good in his game. Man, Alisson needs to grab his water bottle and throw it into the stands. These penalties are rubbish. Rubbish. You could have just won the whole shootout right there. ABS says, would you cash in on Lavia and sign Wharton? There is no market for Lavia. He is always injured and he's not that good. And you paid a big fee and he makes decent money. There is no market for Lavia. If there was a market for Lavia, yes, I would move him and sign Wharton for sure. For sure. I think they will try to get off Lavia in the next 18 months. I think they'll want to move on. I don't think they will get it, but they'll try. Great pen from Schoboschlei. Seb has a weird agenda against Caicedo. I think Seb thinks he's fine. I just don't think he thinks he was worth £130 million. And then he hyperbolizes his arguments because it's social media. I think Seb thinks Caicedo is fine. I think that the thing with Caicedo is like he is legitimately a special all-rounder and special ball winner. Benjamin Stanishevsky says pressure of the prestigious Community Shield got to them. Best pen to win it. Let's see. Ah, great pen. No wonder he's shooting fifth. There you go. Who is number 55? Devaney. Justin Devaney. They brought him on just to take a penalty, clearly, and he's a spanker. Man, very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Somebody said, what about Enzo F? I assume you mean, would I cash in on him for Wharton? No, I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would sell Enzo to do it. I would love to have those three. Like, I would love to be in a world where you have those two, Enzo Caicedo, and then you got like Wharton and Andre, and those are your four. And you're always playing two of them. Sometimes you're playing three of them. And that's your thing. But let's see. Is Lavia the worst signing of the Clear Lake era? No, Sterling has to be, I think. I think Raheem Sterling, given the wages, has to be worse. But it was pretty bad. Would you say our best pivot is Santos and Caicedo? Maybe. In terms of complementary. Do I prefer Elliott to Simons? I would have them largely equivalent, I think. Is Estevao getting 10 goal contributions his first season a big success? Yeah, 100%. 18-year-olds don't do that. 100%. Anywho, I am going to wrap it up there. So what I will say is, if you have questions that you want me to ask Chelsea Youth later, please hit that message. That doesn't mean anything. Shoot me a DM with it. We might not hit the question, but at least I'll know what people want to know about. I'm going to try and post the episode for tomorrow. But no promises. We'll see. It's a Sunday. I got some other stuff going on. Anyways, that's going to be all from me. Thanks for everybody joining during the match. Very, very fun preseason. I'll probably post this tomorrow, and then I'll do like a Thursday episode or Friday episode before the start of the season, because we go Sunday, Crystal Palace at home. Let's go, baby. Anyways, that's all for me. As always, enjoy the soccer.